Emma, Abigail, thank you very much for joining us today for this third and final Women in Science Roundtable. It's really great to have you guys here. So this is our third of 3 roundtables. It's obviously intended to be an open discussion, and from this we'll develop some recommendations. The previous 2 roundtables have gone really well, and our last one was in March. And this is our third roundtable for this theme. So we're going to have 1 theme per roundtable, and there's 3 to 4 themes per discussion. And then that output will be collated and presented to the SOX leadership team in late May. So what are the themes that we'll be discussing today? So far, we've discussed about pre-university, we've discussed about literature and prospectus. It'd be really great to have a chat around the experiences so far on course design, looking at course design and tools themselves, any engagement and opportunities, and also role models and profiles. So thanks again for joining and taking part. So course design and tools. It's a bit of a tricky subject to probably discuss about, but we've previously noted that a vast majority of lecturers in the first year are presented as male. Do you feel that the schools should strive for an equal balance of women lecturers in the first year as part of the course design?
I wouldn't say strive for equal, because obviously I know that can be very difficult, and obviously just who you have as lecturers and things. I just think that maybe kind of shining a light on the fact that there are female lecturers. Like I think in first year we only had one thing for programming and data structures. That was kind of all. It would be nice that, you know, next year, you know, you'll be introduced to these lecturers, X, Y, and Z, you know, make it clear that there are more women kind of within the department. So not necessarily have them teaching you, but just make them, you know, available, that you know that they are there.
Yeah, absolutely. I was going to say the same thing. I feel like it would be nice to see more female lecturers, but obviously it's so difficult to reach that point, because I can understand that they won't get as many applicants, like female applicants as male applicants. But yeah, it would be nice to see more, because I feel like they're such big role models for us as girls as well. You can kind of understand that they've probably gone through, you know, a few hurdles to get where they are and to follow their passion. So it's nice to have someone to relate to in that regard.
So we discussed a lot about sort of behaviour during several of our discussions, and also in some of the modules we cover ethics as well. But what we haven't really discussed about, or we don't discuss in any of the modules, is equality for all, or even women in science. Do you think these should be a natural subject that should be covered in the course design itself?
Yeah, definitely, because it's not just like, it's obviously more and more women are coming into it. So in kind of that sense, it's not something you think should be a thing, but then again, like, people just, I don't know, don't really know how to act around them. Like, I got the job that I applied to a couple months ago, and went down and met them all, and there's 40 people in this company, and I am the only female engineer in the whole company. And they made a few comments like, oh, you know, we don't know how to, it's going to be a learning curve of how to work with a female engineer, and all. It's not something that like you have to adjust to. I'm just a part of the team, and kind of making that obvious that straight away of, you know, there are women in computer science, you know, everyone is, it's just, I'm still an engineer, I'm not just something that has to be like accommodated for on the team.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I feel like I wouldn't say there needs to be anything in like maybe like specific to add to the course. I feel like the course design does a really good job so far at trying to include everyone. You know, so for example, group work projects and that sort of thing. I feel like they do a really good job of balancing male and female in the groups. You know, just so everyone can know that everyone brings a wide range of skills to a group, and it's not just, you know, they don't think, okay, well, we're going to segregate male and female because they maybe work better together. I think it's really important to, you know, diversify everything, which I think they do a really good job of doing.
I think if we start kind of, yes, we already do like group projects and it is equal, just maybe like the ethics thing, or I think we do one lecture about like just equality within the subject, kind of bring it in a little bit more.
Yeah.
It would, then be carried on too when we move into industry, and those comments in the future won't be said. They won't have that mindset of it, inbred. They've kind of learned from the start.
Do you feel that following on from that, do you feel then that maybe the course design somehow needs to sort of prepare people for industry experience from that respect, rather than trying to present a sort of this absolute neutral, balanced view? Is that reality? Do you think there needs to be more practical reality built into course design?
Maybe so. I mean, I feel like very prepared to move into this job. Like every group project I've ever done, it's been me with a group of boys. I've always only been the only female, so I feel very prepared to move into this workplace, and I'm ready and know how to just kind of fit in. But it wasn't something I ever considered that I'd go into a workplace and be the female. Fair enough, I've gone into a very small company and they were like, oh, it's not something we've meant it to come out this way, it's just kind of the way things have fallen. But I think just kind of, I don't know, making it clear that, the industry maybe isn't quite as caught up as university in terms of this diversity, and like we will, obviously as we move up, it will then increase. So I think just like kind of make it aware that it's still out there.
Emma, you mentioned an interesting aspect around team software project and how teams are actually built within the course design. Can I ask for sort of your view on experiences of how that went? What was the sort of dynamics of the team, and how was that sort of managed from a sort of team software engineering sort of perspective? From team leadership through to working, was there an assumption made? How was that sort of experience for you?
Yeah, so I suppose I'm basing my last experience on the team software engineering module in my second year, and I felt like they did a really good job of mixing different genders, because it gives both the guys and the girls in that group a chance to know what it's like to work with both. And I think, like Abigail was saying about her experience and going down to meet her new co-workers, I feel like a lot of people have experienced too much of, especially guys, that they get so used to in this industry just working with other guys, and I feel like this has been such an important way for everyone to know what it's like to work with with a variety. Yes, I'm really glad they gave us that opportunity, because I feel like when I end up going into the workplace, I feel like I'll be very prepared, and I feel like the guys also within that group will be prepared in working with other females.
Have you seen any changes over the period that you've been at the university? So I know, Abigail, you're in year 3, and I know you're just completing year 2 now. So have there been any changes over the period whilst you've been at university which you can highlight as sort of improving women in science over the last two or three years, or the agenda of women in science over the last 2 years?
I'm trying to think.
Yeah, I can't really think of it. But I suppose that in itself could be a problem, because we're not really aware of there being changes. I feel like if I don't know, I feel like if there were big impacts being made, we'd hear about it. And I know about the Athena Swan and all that, but I'm not really sure when that came into place, and that sort of thing. So it would be nice to just sort of hear more.
Yeah, so if there has been changes, they've been kind of kept quiet. It'd be nice that even like the little ones could be like, oh look, we are taking a step forward and we are making even tiny little steps. Just make it known that those steps are being made, because sometimes it's just not noticeable when you're just trying to get on with day to day. You just kind of put your head down and get on with it, don't you? So you don't really look out for those sorts of things. I have got one more thing to say. In like second year and stuff, we had a few, like, Yvonne brought in a few like ex-students to come in and kind of talk about their experience of moving from uni into industry. It was, well, I think I noticed that they were all males, there was no female ex-student come in. So there was a way that kind of encouraged that, and just having a female student come in and do that talk, I think would be, just as another note to pop in there, like it was just all male students that came in and talked. So
it'd be really nice to think about now engagement and opportunities. So what do I mean by engagement and opportunities? So obviously we have different projects like Euros and things like that, and they're open for everyone. So the question really thinks around, you know, for instance, there are hiring panels, and which students can sit on, and you know, should it be, for instance, mandated that maybe there is a woman representation on these panels for all interviews? Currently, as a student panel, there isn't, and it tends to be all sort of male participants. Do you think that there is active, positive enforcement of engagements or opportunities for women in science that you've experienced so far?
I wouldn't really say I've experienced much. Yeah, I feel like I don't really hear much of, we're going to get more girls involved because we need more girls, or I'm, you know, if one of us gets contacted about an opportunity, it's more about you getting involved in an opportunity, and it's not so much them saying we've got to get girls involved, that's why we're contacting you, which I actually quite like. I think it makes it feel more inclusive if you're actually being, you know, roped into opportunities because of your ability and because they want to provide you with an opportunity, and not because, oh, you're a girl and we've got to get more of you involved.
Yeah, it's kind of like almost a double-edged sword of, obviously, them to include women and for them to be like, yes, we want more girls, but you also don't want the only reason to be there is because you're a girl. Like, it's that sort of syndrome. You think, oh, I'm only here because they need to fill their quota, or they need to reach that diversity.
Exactly.
But like what you're saying about this hiring panels, I didn't even know we had hiring panels. Wasn't even aware that students in general could sit on those, let alone that having a female representative on there, which I think, you know, they should have. Like, I think it should almost be. I know obviously some students just aren't interested, so that can be hard. But like, had I known that there was one there, then I would like to have thought I would definitely have been at least interested in finding out more, and if there was something I could take part in.
Yeah, I agree. I wasn't really aware that you could actually apply for that sort of thing.
Yeah, I think there's probably quite a lot of these opportunities that go in the background that would probably, feels like they would make a difference if people were more aware, and so that's maybe an opportunity there to maybe make that a bit more clearer, a bit more open for people to take part in.
Yeah, not necessarily just to the, like, obviously the women, but just to all students in general, because, you know, just by being given all students that opportunity, more girls are more inclined to then, you know, jump in and apply for something like that, just because that opportunity is there for everyone.
I remember you mentioning, as part of your sort of cadet training, there was a girls in science program that was done previous to joining university, specifically to try and get women in science in STEM, I think it was.
Yeah, so my younger sister, when she was in the cadets, they put on this Women in Science for Engineering weekend for the female cadets to come in and see, you know, other women within who were in it. They were obviously like, and kind of just see that they, you know, there was a space for them there. It also meant that it was an environment that, obviously, with just being girls, you know, a bit like brownies and stuff, they were comfortable then to ask questions and not worry about, you know, looking a bit stupid in front of the boys, or, you know, to be kind of ridiculed for being interested in that side of things. I think it just opened up a whole world for people that they didn't know was there. for them.
Do you think there's an opportunity for that type of program within the School of Computer Science sort of field, not just necessarily for younger students to come and see, hey, look, this stuff does exist, but for even for current first years and second years to see third years and master students, and to bring sort of mentors into the school to help show there are pathways here. What are your thoughts around that type of engagement?
Oh, definitely. I think that's just is something that could, even if it was, through the society of like, oh, here, put on an evening, every couple of months or whatever, a couple of times a year, just to be like, here are other girls on the course that, you can interact and talk about, your experiences, learn things, and just kind of meet other women within the rank. Because that's one thing, like, I've got my friends in my course, but none of them are the females on the course. I just never had that interaction with them, never really had the chance to know it. Whereas having that engagement opportunity to meet them, I could have opened a whole other like friendship, more experiences that could have. I think it's definitely something that should be brought in. Just if someone wants to take part, it's there for them.
Yeah, really great points there. It's I suppose the way I sort of think about this is sort of networking. Emma, have you? What are your thoughts? Do you think there's enough work done by the university to do suitable networking across an equal field, not just sort of women in science, but sort of equally represented, just to try and demonstrate suitable pathways?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like the university does a good job of creating like engagement opportunities. Like I feel like Blackboard has been a really useful way of seeing all of this, because I've noticed that I actually get a lot of notifications about women in IT, and I've noticed it a lot actually. And I go on Blackboard. I check Blackboard maybe like once a week or something, maybe not a bit more than that. And I've noticed quite a lot of the announcements are to do with women in IT, women in science, women in business, and I'm really happy that they're recognising that it's maybe more challenging for us, and that they're just providing more opportunities for us to get involved like that. But equally, I feel like they do just provide loads of a wide range of opportunities for everyone, not just us as women.
Yeah, the career services and like the way that they put out on Blackboard is just been like, there's no complaints. I can't find a fault in it. Like, it's just the way that they've just put the information out there has been really good.
But this leads into an interesting talk around role models now and sort of profiles. For instance, the Lincoln Career Service provide a mentoring scheme, and specifically, although it's not specifically women in science mentoring, there are several leading women computer scientists who are part and are able to be talked to and approached to be mentors for students. Have you heard about those types of activities? Is that something that you think would be interesting through year 1, 2, and 3?
That's not something I've heard about.
No.
Actually, and I saw Abigail shaking her head as well. It's lovely to know that those things are like available now, but I had absolutely no idea until you mentioned it just now. But otherwise, I think that's brilliant. I think that's a wonderful way to not get women engaged, but just to make them feel more comfortable in the degree that they're doing, and remove that that imposter syndrome we were talking about over the last couple of months. I think that's a brilliant idea. I just wish I'd known about it.
Yeah, I was just about to say, like, I didn't even know we had that mentor scheme, or that there was women in computer science that were part of it. Had I known that back in first, I definitely would have wanted that, to get into contact and just, have a chat with, and just kind of, hear their experiences and know that there are people out there doing it. So, that is something that I hope kind of gets advertised a lot more, so that people actually know that it's there.
Yeah, absolutely. Sort of like the peer mentoring scheme that they had this year, and they made that quite prevalent. So they sort of made sure that everyone was aware of it and everyone could get involved. It would be nice for them to put that effort into this as well.
Do you feel, extending that, do you feel that there is enough done by the school to help provide women mentors? I know you've spoke about Yvonne before and Wenting. Is there enough done with the school on that perspective?
Well, for me personally, because Wenting is my personal tutor, so I feel like in that respect, that's I like her. I like having a woman as a personal mentor, but obviously a personal tutor. But obviously, Abigail and the other girls might not have the same opportunity and the same experience as me. So I think I'm just fortunate with that, and I feel more comfortable having that, so that if I have any problems, I can go to her and I can feel comfortable expressing my thoughts to her. Maybe more so if it was a male tutor. So I don't know whether it would be worth even introducing, well, maybe first of all having more female tutors, but also maybe introducing a pair thing, so having a male and a female tutor for the groups, so that both genders have someone they can go to and feel comfortable talking to.
Yes, I wasn't as lucky when it came to getting the tutors. The ones I've had over all 3 years have all been the male tutors. I know it's like randomly generated, but I think something as much as like your personal tutor, a little bit of almost thought or like plan could go into, oh, we'll make sure that the couple female students that are on the course kind of are assigned to a female personal tutor, just that then, straight from the get-go you were introduced to a woman in computer science, someone that you can then confide and can talk to. Because I think I would have, I have emailed Yvonne a couple of times with issues and things rather than gone to my personal tutor, because it's just felt more comfortable doing that rather than to like the male that was there.
Yeah, and it's difficult because you don't want to create like segregation. You don't want to create a situation where females are getting put with the females and the males are getting put with the males, but it's just nice to have the option.
Just like a bit of thought going into it.
And especially seeing that personal tutors are assigned at the very start of the first year, and they stay with you through the whole university experience.
Yeah, I did like that idea. I've never considered of pairing it up and doing that sort of too.
It sort of extends onto a following question, really. Do you feel that we should limit ourselves to SOCs? Obviously, the College of Science has School of Maths and Physics, School of Geography, School of Life Sciences, all that have a larger body or a more equal body of male to female ratio. Should there be opportunities to sort of use those great role models as peer mentors and things? What do you think that's something that would be useful?
I definitely think it would be helpful and useful in terms of seeing, other women in science, other role models like that. So it'd definitely be interesting. I'm not sure where, from my position, I'd very much want like computer scientists, and so they will have gone through the exact, they have the same kind of troubles, the same issues. They're like, see, on a similar page to you. But again, like just any women in science role models, just putting them out there for us to know that they're there as well, I think is definitely a positive.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be nice to just have like a variety of, the accessibility to women in science and not women in computer science, because I think it's possibly an issue, across the board and not just within our specific school.
The school certainly has a large body of women postgrads, and I think who have each had their own experiences going through the School of Computer Science, within the School of Computer Science, as well as other schools. Do you think there's opportunity there for sort of a role model and mentor type relationship? There we go.
Yeah, definitely. I think anyone who, postgraduate, they will have very recently been through, obviously, their undergrad. Well, most of them anyway usually go straight on to doing that sort of stuff. So they would be, like, such good people to talk to and have that mentorship with, and just kind of a contact with. So if people are, willing and up for that, then I think it could be almost a game changer in terms of just, bringing more people into the field of view, and just making them accessible to have that engagement with.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree with that. I don't really have anything else to say other than, yeah, I think you hit the nail on the head with that.
I suppose we're coming to the end of the conversation now, but what would be nice to sort of close on is just to think about how easy it is to sort of access role models. Do you feel that there is it easy enough to find a mentor or a role model within the school from your experience in the first year that you feel comfortable to reach out to, or not? Or do you think there should be some other type of mechanism that's advertised, or so on, to try and create that relationship?
Yeah, for me personally, having a female tutor provided that for me, but otherwise, I'd say there maybe isn't. After that, there isn't much of an opportunity. I don't, I think when we looked at the website in the last roundtable we had, we were sort of looking at the faces, the profiles that were on the university website for computer science, and how you didn't really see any female faces. And I know that's maybe looking at more particularly someone that's applying to do computer science at this university. They may not see all the female role models that there are. But even so, having been here for a couple of years now, I don't really know where to go, go for that. And like talking about the Women in Science mentoring that the career service do, that sort of thing would have been nice to know about, because I reckon that would have been a good option to go to.
Yeah, I agree. It's like, it was stumbling upon Yvonne in second year and kind of realising that she was there and available, that it was like, oh, there's someone to talk to, hearing about all these opportunities like that mentorship. It's kind of, the mechanisms are already in place, they're just not known about. So I think if more emphasis is put on kind of getting it out there, that they are here and they are for you to use, would, I think, be a game changer. That'll be a massive step in just people know about them so they can use them, rather than bringing more in. I think we should kind of use what we've got and kind of make it known that we have them.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Well, that's I think a really great point to sort of close on. I think it sums up the general conversation really around visibility and awareness, sort of around this particular theme, this roundtable. I'd like to thank you both, Emma, Abigail, for your time today and taking part in answering and sort of having discussion, going through questions. It's been great having you for the 3 roundtables, and so a real big thanks for taking part and sharing your experiences and your openness and candidness. So thank you very much. Thank you very much for that.